Good morning, good evening.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to Unbroken, a podcast where raw truths meet recovery and where we explore the path from survival to sovereignty. I am Laura Laffitte Salis-Gabbiani, human rights expert, legal expert, trauma-informed psychotherapist, and founder of Advocare AU. Together with my co-host, Reverend Julie Haas, founder of Faithfully Driven, we created Unbroken to uncover how trauma, coercive control, addiction, and recovery intertwine, and how we reclaim power through awareness, embodiment, and truth. This podcast brings legal depth, lived experience, as we are both domestic violence survivors, and embodied wisdom together to help survivors recognize invisible abuse, rebuild self-trust, and move beyond systems that silence or minimize harm.
Yes.
Our goal is to support listeners in finding safety, clarity, and the courage to live freely again, personally, legally, and collectively. Today, for our very first episode, we begin at the heart of this work with Julie's story. Julie brings lived experience in addiction recovery and long-term sobriety alongside her work in somatic trauma education, nervous system regulation, and spiritual healing, free from dogma. Her work teaches that the body itself is the pathway home, the way we rebuild intuition, safety, and sovereignty after coercion and trauma. Julie, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
When we first talk, your story has touched me a lot, as I could relate words by words to it, and it's a real privilege to begin this journey together by hearing from your own word what is your experience about it. First of all, I would like to ask you a question. Would you like me to call you Reverend Julie, or do you prefer just only Julie?
You can call me whatever feels comfortable to you. I answer to both. For some people, it's not comfortable to say that first part, the Reverend, and I get that.
Mhm.
So whatever feels comfortable to you, because I'm both.
Okay, let's be simple. Let's start with Julie. I think it will maybe
Absolutely.
make people more at ease.
I think
I
so.
have
Let's
my
go.
I have my first question for you. So, when you look back, how did coercive control first appear in your life? And when did you start to realize it was something deeper than what many might call love or loyalty?
Great question. So I think for me, it started with confusion. And I really want to say that because I was so thoroughly confused. And for so many people, that's like the first sign. So, I started Googling symptoms like so
Mhm.
many of us do. What is emotional abuse? What is, coercive control had never even been in my language vocabulary up until that point. But I was very confused. And I know that I felt like I was just really kind of crazy. I almost, there was so much shame. I had so much toxic shame, and I had so much um, lack of self-trust at that point that at that time I was just really confused and I thought I'm the problem. So that's how it started. Googling some symptoms and um, realizing, oh my God, I think I'm being emotionally abused. Like, is this
Mhm.
possible? So that's how the deep dive started. But I did not at the time when I first got into this kind of excavation of my life and the situation that I was in, I didn't realize that I was in an abusive marriage and I didn't realize that I had been coercively controlled my entire life because the red flags don't look red when you've come from that family system. And I
Mhm.
was well into
Agree.
sobriety at this point. So, I think confusion is one thing that I really want to tell people. And a lot of guilt, a lot of guilt. I had a lot of guilt,
Shame. A lot of shame.
a lot of
I
shame,
can
a lot
relate.
of
I
guilt.
can relate on that. Absolutely. I can completely relate on that. The confusion, the shame, the guilt, not knowing what is it, discovering by accident what is it because oh, okay, that's it. I am in it.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
I understand.
right. Because, it looks like care. It
Yeah,
looks like concern.
yep, I agree. I agree. You have spoken about trauma addiction, control loop, the way these patterns feed one another.
Mm.
How did that dynamic shape your own journey of recovery?
Great question. Well, it took me years to really realize this, but trauma is the gateway drug. Like, trauma is the
Mhm,
gateway drug. That was what I was trying to dampen with the addiction. So, addiction, it served a purpose at the time because I was in so
absolutely.
much pain. I had started using very young at 12 years old to numb the pain. So, when you've spent a lifetime running from the pain and trying to suppress, these
Mhm,
feelings,
mhm,
you don't even know what you're running from, quite honestly. So,
yeah,
addiction was like the firefighter in IFS therapy. They talk about that, these things that we use to kind of dampen the pain. And then
mhm,
control comes in, right? Control comes in to kind of, it's the manager part of us that keeps everything going, the system running, so to speak. And so, when I got sober, that's when I started to realize that wow, I think I'm, running from something, but I can't quite figure it out. And it took me years to figure that out because my nervous system was not in a safe place at the time because I was in a abusive marriage. So it really
mhm,
it took me years to figure that out, but it can continue in many different facets of our life. So just because I got sober doesn't mean that I stopped my loop of control, trying to control other
mhm,
people, control situations, to find this sense of like safety within myself, right? I see you nodding,
yeah,
so it's definitely you
yeah.
can relate. Yeah.
What type of addiction did you have when you
I
talk
was an
about?
alcoholic and
Okay,
a drug addict. So
okay,
it was my first addiction was people. So
okay,
my first disease is codependency. That is
okay.
my first
I,
disease.
okay, I got it. I
You're like,
completely
pew, pew,
got
pew,
it.
pew.
I had that as well. I'm still have it a little bit, and I need to work out that still. It's
Right,
a
because it's like in our wiring to manage other people's emotions, external circumstances, so that we can feel
yeah,
safe.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that is so deeply ingrained.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had work addiction.
Oh, absolutely. Well, when I first got sober, I spent my life at work and I worked
Mhm,
my ass off. And
mhm,
and of course society is like, wow, you're amazing. You're working so
yeah,
hard. And
yeah,
so it's not villainized in our culture. It's actually it's commendable. You're like a
yeah.
jack of all trades. I can do it all. Like, look at me. I am amazing. I can work 50 hours, raise kids, go to the gym, make a meal, blah, blah, blah. And
Mhm.
you're praised for how much you're putting out, right? So I say
Absolutely.
putting out like you're a
Yeah,
human doer instead of a human
yeah.
being.
Yeah, and that kind of addiction actually, people will say, "Oh, that's good," as you say. People will say, "Ah, that's good," but they don't recognize that as an addiction. But it is like food addiction is the same. I had food addiction, like
Right.
emotional. So I was compensate the lack of love with food addiction. So I didn't have I didn't go into drugs or alcohol because I
Mhm.
had alcohol in my family. So I didn't want to go there. I saw already the damage on it. So I was a bit vaccinated against that. But I had other addiction as well. So yeah, I can relate absolutely about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. So was there alcoholism in one generation above you or in two generations? Like, was it a parent or a grandparent, if you're comfortable?
Parents, parents.
Okay, so that's fascinating. And I just want to stop there because in the patterns of alcoholism and addiction, it wasn't my parents that were in the conventional sense, alcoholics
Okay.
or addicts to drugs, but it was one generation above. So they
Okay.
usually say, like, unless we fix the
Yeah.
dysfunctional ways of relating, that,
Yeah.
see, I wasn't off put by alcohol because I didn't see my parents abusing it, but I became the alcoholic because
Yeah.
I used it, right?
Yeah. That's yes, that's very funny.
Yeah.
It's right because I saw. I'm jumping on something else, but I saw an interview about a famous French DJ
Hmm.
called Bob Sinclair, who called about his dad, who was an alcoholic,
Hmm.
and Bob Sinclair said, "I won't touch alcohol and I don't touch drugs as well because I saw my dad being an alcoholic and doing that, and I don't want to do that to my kids. So I don't
Right.
have kids myself, but I would never do that." To anyone around me because and to myself because I saw the damage. So it's a good point what you are mentioning because it's jumping when you jump on a generation, you go to the addiction maybe.
Well,
Uh,
because we were never taught how to relate in healthy ways.
yeah,
So we're
yeah,
still trying to self-soothe through compulsive behaviors. But
yeah,
we don't want to
absolutely.
be like my mom had a food addiction. So, that was one thing. I mean, I definitely struggled with food, but it wasn't to the extent that my mom did because I saw it
Yeah.
was kind of, and I saw that she lost love because of that, right? Like if she wasn't a size
Hmm.
two, she was going to get punished. She was going to go get shamed for that. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I somewhere in my body it registered like, ooh, don't do that. That's not a good addiction. Let's try something else.
yeah. So that's exactly that. A good point, very good point you raise here. I didn't think of that actually.
Yeah.
So I'm learning something new
Well,
with
'cause
you.
subconsciously we learn like, oh, that's not going to work here in this family system. I'm
Yeah,
going to lose love, right? So we need to
yeah,
kind of, you know,
yeah, absolutely. No, it's a good point. My third question would be to you, a huge part of your work rests on healing through the body. Can you share what embodiment really meant for you when you first began moving from survival to safety?
mm. Well, it did not come willingly. I'll tell you that. I mean, it was not willingly because, like I said, I got sober and I worked my butt off and I threw myself into other addictions. Exercise, work,
Hmm.
working out, relationships.
Hmm.
So what happened was, is my body failed. I had complete autonomic nervous system failure. It landed me bedridden for several years,
Okay.
following the birth of my third child. So I,
Okay.
had two kids that were older and then a newborn, and I was bedridden for several years with dysautonomia. And so it was like take someone that's constantly busy, 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 go, 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 and all of a sudden you're forced to sit and
Yeah.
not
Stop.
move and deal. And it's like if you don't listen to your body will force you to listen in ways that you are not gonna like.
Yep.
You're not gonna
And it
like.
will be strong. It will be very strong.
And it would be very strong. And that came with a complete nervous system collapse. And it was
Okay.
terrifying. But I could barely even talk because it would drop my blood pressure. So I couldn't
Okay.
even sing. I mean, I really it was a horrific experience, but I was trapped in my own body essentially is the only way that I can
Okay.
explain it. And
Okay.
I needed I was like 3 years sober. I needed to, so I say that because I had already had some spiritual tools under my belt, but nothing
Okay.
prepares you for that. Like nothing prepares
Mhm.
you for that. But I started to get into breath work. I started to really inhabit my body because I was forced to inhabit my body for the first time and to
Mhm.
learn
Okay.
like what exactly my body was telling me. Oh, I'm hungry. Like I would have overridden that with a pack of cigarettes and 10 cups of coffee. I don't smoke anymore, but this is how I got through life. Or eat like a
Mhm.
bag full of junk food, or I was never paying attention to the clues that my body was telling me. And finally, my body just said, enough, like you're gonna listen. And that's how I started to come back into my body and also to not panic, right? Because the sensations were so uncomfortable. When you've spent a lifetime dissociating, and I didn't know I was dissociating, to come
Yeah.
back into your body is fucking terrifying. Excuse my language,
Yeah.
but it is terrifying. But I had no choice at that point because I had to save my life. So it was those small moments of learning how to feel safe in my body and learning how much I could also affect my autonomic nervous system. And that I really learned in seminary through
Hmm.
prayer, chanting, spiritual stuff, where I thought, oh my God, this is so weird. I can actually manage my POTS better when I'm praying or meditating, and
Hmm.
so that's how, it started to come together.
Talking about spirituality. Spirituality has always been central to your path, yet you have also spoken about experiencing faith in environments shaped by control. How did you build a spiritual relationship that was rooted in freedom and authenticity?
Mm. Well, I think when I first came to AA was like my first spiritual program. I had a
Okay,
lot of religious injury as a child. My parents were
okay,
not very religious at all.
okay.
But I had family friends that were like my aunt and uncle that I had endured some really, kind
Hmm.
of significant abuse, early childhood abuse, and they were very, very religious. So I
Okay,
was really kind of turned off by religion from an early age. I also had the thought early on, like, how can there be so many different religions? I mean, I really remember that as a kid. How can there be so many different religions and like everyone's fighting, like who's right? Which one's right? Which one's wrong? And, you know, um, I never
yeah,
really got an answer to that because my parents were just kind of anti-organized religion, oddly enough.
okay,
Um, but then it was in AA that, it was always about turn it over to God, turn it over to God. He will save you. And that like really, I didn't like that. I did not like that part at all. And
mm,
that was a huge roadblock for
okay,
myself and for a lot of other women in the program
okay,
because there was this resistance in my body to like turn it over to him. Like I would just hear like fuck that, fuck that. It was like
yeah,
who is that? Who is saying that? And I had to go deeper into that little voice of, why is there so much resistance? But I also had to open the doorway up to kind of making something else bigger than me. So like, I saw that it worked for other people. It's like, okay, if it can work for them, I trust that. I was a very science-based person. So it was like, okay, well,
mhm,
I don't think it could work for me, but I see that it's working for other people. Maybe it could work for me. And,
mhm,
doing the right thing, being honest, all these little things that felt so foreign to me, like doing the right thing when nobody's looking, not for praise, but just, putting this intention out into the universe and seeing how it works in your life. And sure enough, these amazing things started to happen, especially when I went to seminary. I'll never forget the first month of seminary, we started doing a Buddhist prayer, Buddhist practice, and it was I think it was a metta practice. And I was having a lot of difficulty with my parents at the time. And I started this practice to kind of mend that difficult relationship. They did
mhm,
not know that I was doing this, right? But I started this practice, and all of a sudden, my relationship changed with them. Same with other people. Now, they weren't aware of this, so something maybe in me had changed, maybe something in the universe. I didn't understand any of it, but I was fascinated by it. And the more that I allowed myself to investigate these, spirituality on a whole, especially in seminary. I mean, I went to an amazing seminary in New York City,
okay,
interfaith seminary, but like learning about these shamanic roots and how, the ancient traditions were really women led. And that got me crazy. Like, what do you mean they were women led? Like, how did the men get in
mhm,
charge and why can't, and I
mhm,
started to deep dive into religious roots and spiritual traditions that felt safe to me.
yeah.
And
So
usually it
in
was
joking,
like
yeah,
honoring
go for
Mother
it. Sorry.
Earth and cyclical, the seasons. Like, okay, I believe in that. I believe in death and rebirth. I believe in,
Mhm.
those kinds of things that weren't too far out there for me, shall we say, too woo-woo, because I was such a science-based person. But
Mhm.
I did
Mhm.
believe in things that you could see like that. Cycles, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. So that's the resistance to go to the religion that help you to love yourself actually and to have a better relationship with people around you as well.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, that just got me, oh my God, into a deep dive. Like, if I can do this one meditation for a month and my relationships can change and no one knows that I'm doing this, like, how is this
Mhm.
working? And I just started next month, we were doing something else, and then something else would change in my life. And I was shocked. I was shocked, but I was
Yeah. Yeah.
also really curious about like, wow, why don't more people know about this? Or what is all this about these mystery schools and so on and so forth. And really just learning more and more about like how women became disconnected from their intuition and oh, this makes
Yeah.
sense. And I don't want to go too far off topic, but yeah,
No, but I believe that and about intuition and being disconnected to that, I believe that lots of people are nowadays disconnected from that, from their
absolutely.
spirituality, from it's just my opinion because it's just an observation that I have on my own entourage, you know. I see a lots of people completely disconnected from their spirituality and their intuition, their feminine part, even so they are in a masculine body and vice versa, you know. So
Absolutely. And it's like, who benefits? We have to stop and think, who benefits from having a middleman in between you and God?
yeah,
Who benefits from that? Patriarchal institutions do and
yeah,
systems.
absolutely, absolutely.
Because if we
That's the
cannot
patri.
divine for ourselves the truth, then someone
Yeah,
else is in control of our truth.
yeah, absolutely. I think we can have another topic on another episode on that full episode
I like episodes and episodes.
on that. I think that would be very interesting.
Yes.
I have another question. Now the question is about somatic trauma education. So in somatic trauma education, nervous system regulation is the key.
Mm.
For our listeners, just beginning to recover from coercive dynamics, what simple body-based practice can help re-establish a sense of safety, according to you?
Okay, so according to me, these are the things that, first of all, I want to say is that it's very simple, small steps. I was someone that went like 0 to 60. Like, I would get out of the
Hmm?
hospital and have a heart attack and want to go run a marathon.
Yeah.
I had to learn to do things in small, safe steps. So it was like keeping small promises to myself. What does that look like? Noticing every time I said I like green beans when someone, and I don't, or that I was not going to eat that donut today, and I did. It was the disconnect, right? So it was like keeping
Hmm.
small promises to myself taught my body, oh, okay, we can trust her. Because when
Hmm.
you don't keep the promise to yourself, the shame sets in. And then
Absolutely.
right? So it's
The
small,
negative talks.
right. And it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go run a marathon this year. Like it's gotta be small steps. Like today I'm just not gonna eat that donut, just keep it
Yeah.
simple. So that was one thing. The other thing, breath work. Breath work, breath work, breath work. When we really become aware of our breath, so many times we hold our breath and we can control the hormones, the activation in our body just from our breath. And when
Hmm.
I found that out, that was like a gold mine because that was my first act of rebellion and building self-trust within myself that nobody could see I was doing. But it's a longer exhale. So when you breathe in, you're breathing in for 4, you hold it for 4, and then breathe out for 6 or 7 because that automatically engages the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest. So it's like
Absolutely.
instead of telling, my mind telling my body, you're safe, you're safe, calm down, calm down. It's like, no, I'm intentionally doing things somatically, like rubbing myself or giving myself a hug. It sounds so silly. But this is the
It's
inner
not.
child work. It's
It is
like
not.
but it isn't. You're right, because that's how we start to regulate our nervous systems.
Yeah.
Dance. I I used to worry about wasting hours dancing in I mean, I would dance for hours and I would think, "Oh my God, I can't be like wasting time. I have stuff to do." And I would just dance, dance, dance. Somatic movement, being back in your body. I mean, that improves your vagal tone and neuroplasticity faster than
Yeah.
anything. And I love it. You're a dancer, right?
Mm. I am a dancer. I dance a lot.
And
I
see,
think
I
that
think
is my
from
therapy, I always been my escape and my therapy all my life. But
me
I
too.
think it's because it saved me somehow to be not too damaged. I mean, I've been damaged, but not that damaged to the point that I've been, so it
I
helped
would
me.
agree because when I was a teenager, I loved raves, and in my 20s, I mean, I loved techno music and raves, and
Hmm.
I always thought, like, once I found out about somatic movement and dance, I thought, my God, that was my
Better.
attempt early
Yep.
on to regulate my nervous system. Even there's something with the techno movement and the beats
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because it's predictable, right?
Any, if I want to bounce on that, um, I read recently a study that was saying that it was healing to go to the nightclub and dance for the people who had trauma
Hmm.
because it was regulating the nervous system. And it was whatever the music was, it
Yeah,
was regulating. And it's exactly what you are saying, what I practice, and I didn't know it was that as well. And I start to chat with you, and I understand that it was that as well. So yeah, and
right.
yeah, yeah, because you do things sometimes because your body tell you if you listen to your body tells you, oh, you have to do that, or I would like
Right.
to do that, and sometimes you don't know why, and after you understand why. And as you
Yeah.
say, you were into raves when you were young, and you understand after that the somatic regulation, trauma regulation was all about that as well. So
Yep. Our bodies are
it
so
was
smart, like
instinct,
it knew.
yeah, instincts, intuition, second thought, call it how you want and how people
Absolutely.
will want actually.
Yeah.
So
But this
yeah,
is this is also a guilt-free message to all the women that are
yeah.
like, I can't waste time dancing in my living room for hours. You're not wasting time. Like that's your therapy. That is how I made it through my divorce. Honestly, it
Mhm.
saved me and how I made it through my whole childhood. So it's your permission to dance.
Yeah, yes, because dancing it's a relationship to the body as well. You embody your feminine part, or yeah, you embody the side of you that is you as a woman. I talk because men it's maybe certainly different,
I would agree.
but as a woman, when you dance, you feel more sexy. Let's talk about that. You feel
Yeah.
more, you feel more close to your feminine side. So you want to dance, and you show the movement of your body, and it start to be different. So, and when you have been traumatized and you have been in coercive control almost all your life, when you go out of that, being a woman again and being feeling that your body is communicating another emotion, and not a
Mm,
traumatic emotion, but a loving emotion,
yeah.
because it's all about that, unconditional love and
Or rage, or like, I mean,
yeah,
I've danced to the point where
yeah,
it
or
is
rage,
like,
any emotions, yeah.
and yeah, and just like crying and laughing and twirling and yeah. Yeah, it's a safe
So
place
yeah, it's
to explore and just
safe
kind of
place.
not you're not dancing like with anyone like watching you for sexuality, for attention. It's like for your own
No,
divinity, for
it's
your
for all
own.
your own. Yeah, it's for you. You dance for yourself.
Yes.
to feel good within.
Yes.
That's the main thing. Lots of
Yeah.
people, yeah. I'm dancing, I'm dancing Brazilian, so I'm dancing forró. It's a
Ooh.
couple dance. People think that when I'm going to dance, I'm going to go for finding a guy. I'm not
Right.
going to dance for that. I'm going to dance to feel good.
Right. Right. Whatever happens in your life is just
Yeah,
it's a bonus, but it's because you were magnetic and you feel good.
yeah. Otherwise, that's it. I mean, I'm happy to dance and just dance, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just for the fun, for because it's fun, because it's social as well. So you are
Yeah.
in contact with people. You are not alone, you know. So when you have been in hermit mode, survival hermit mode for so long, going to dance, you meet people, you know. So you have to be, you know, open and opening your heart, you know, to
Yeah.
chat and to trust as well. It's a matter of trust because when you dance couple dance, it's also building trust.
Yes, absolutely. That's a whole
We
other
are
level.
completely lost when you have coercive control because you lost trust in someone else, you know. So
Mm.
so yeah, dancing is yeah, it's a good thing.
Dancing is such a good therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. I have another question for you.
Okay.
Coercive system often disconnect survivor from their intuition. We talked about that just a little bit before.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. What helped you begin to recognize your inner voice again and believe it?
So, like I said, making promises and keeping them. That's one thing because your body needs to learn that you've got your own back. So
Mm-hmm.
that is huge. Also, intuition is like a muscle. So I think you spoke about that hermit phase, right? I went
Yeah.
through the hermit phase too. And I think that that's a necessary stage because I had to get to know my energy so well, so well. Like I became like a tuning fork so that when anyone comes in my energy field, I am so aware of my body and my own energy that I immediately recognize that it's someone else that's disturbing my peace, shifting my frequency, so to speak. So that's really the number one thing for me was like I had to separate myself from everyone, go into this hermit mode, and then it becomes going back out again and like building, reconnecting with people because we don't heal alone. We're not supposed to stay alone.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of the things that our abusive systems want is for us to be alone. But there's
Yeah.
a time period where you have to, I think, be completely alone without the food, the relationships, the shopping, the overworking, the distractions, and get to know your own energy very,
Yeah.
very well.
Absolutely.
And every time you listen to your voice, it's like the universe goes, "Oh my God, thank God she's online again." Okay, and and that muscle gets stronger. It's like your intuition comes back online, and every time you practice using it, it gets stronger and stronger. And the universe
Hmm.
does kind of send you these like signs like, "Yes, yes, keep going. You're on the right path."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question come to my mind. We talk about intuition,
Hmm.
but what is your opinion on how to distinguish intuition to negative talk that we had, for example, that we had all along, certainly from the childhood, certainly from the people around us, you know, because
Mm.
most of the time, and I remember I had that experience as well, at the
Hmm.
beginning, I had all the negative talk, you know, and I was thinking that it was my intuition, but it was not. So how could you explain to our listener how they can distinguish that negative talk from their intuition?
That is such a great question. Fear is really loud. Fear is like very urgent, Fear is all
Yeah.
those lower frequency emotions are very, it makes you want to do something suddenly. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
this is the answer. Intuition That's why you have to get quiet. That's why you have to get back in your body because it's quiet. It's calmer. It's steadier. It's not like, hey, oh my God, a warning. It's like, boop, boop, hello, hello. You have
Yeah,
to, but it comes with such, when you start to really connect with your intuition, it comes with a knowing that it's like you don't know how you know it, but it just
but you
comes
know
with
it.
a quiet inner knowing.
Okay.
It's the part of you that goes, but this, but that's not intuition. Intuition like just knows. Like you just know in your body. It's not loud, it's not waving its hands. You have to be quiet to connect with your intuition. The fear is loud. Fear is a sense of urgency. Intuition is not.
Hmm.
Intuition never comes with a sense of urgency. Never.
Okay. So what would you recommend to go into that quiet mode? Meditation, maybe before going into a meditation mode or breathing work to calm down the nervous system first and ask our unconscious mind, maybe our intuition, what is the true to that? What concretely, if you have someone who is in
Yeah.
front of you, what you would recommend to do, for
To get
example?
those small intuitive signals. Don't start by trying to get some intuitive signal of, a major life decision like, intuition, tell me, should I, invest in this or not? I mean, just start with slow things like intuition will tell you what
Hmm.
to eat, what to drink. If you listen to that, it's like it comes without a big story behind it. And that's really important. But meditation, and I want to say this, a
Okay.
lot of women, including myself, have a lot of trouble meditating early on in the traditional sense of like, go sit somewhere quietly and breathe and meditate and let all your thoughts go away. I couldn't meditate like that. Dancing was meditation for me. Walking outside in nature was meditation for me in the beginning because it felt too
Okay.
scary
Yeah.
to sit quietly and try to, and then I would shame myself. Oh, I can't meditate. I can't this. So, but again,
Hmm.
I can't tell you or anyone what the correct way is to go about. That's kind of like for them to listen, try it,
Yeah.
follow those little hunches, if because I don't want to say, yes, you should go meditate for half an hour today and get in touch with your inner knowing. It's like that doesn't feel safe or right, but if something
Okay.
says you should go outside and go for a walk, that's where you start to, okay, maybe I should, and then see what happens. It's following those little hunches that are
Hmm.
not loud. They're not going to be loud.
Yeah. That's a good point. Okay.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what does true empowerment look like after coercive control? Not, just externally in life circumstances, but within the emotional and spiritual self.
Mm. Yeah, that is. Well, because I mean, it's not like having my own money or my own house or my own car. It's really not about that. It's about having my own inner knowing. That's what it's about. It's about I trust my yes and I honor my no. And that is something that no one can take away from me, my own sovereignty over my decisions. I don't have to
Mhm.
explain myself and drain my energy when I make a decision. I know that when I've made a decision, that that's the decision, so it's not like going to 20 million people to ask for their advice because you're going to get 20 different perspectives and they're all looking through it with their, right? So
Mhm.
it's like, I don't
Yeah.
have to that's where it started too, even just talking about that. It's like not asking everybody for advice because that can be really confusing and you're already confused. So
Mhm.
it's knowing that ultimately I'm going to honor myself. If something doesn't feel right, I don't have to go down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out why because I need a good reason. It's like it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Done.
You feel it. I
I
agree.
feel it. I
Feel
feel
it.
it. And so I have my own, I don't outsource my authority to anyone. It doesn't mean that I'm this like rogue person that's making this like, I have trusted friends, I have a therapist, I have people that I go to that are trusted companions along my
Hmm.
journey
Hmm.
because it's dangerous to isolate to the point where you don't have any feedback and
Yeah,
other
it's very dangerous.
people helping you, right? But at the end of the day, I do not outsource my authority to anyone, people, places, or things. Like I have
Hmm.
everything that I need to take care of myself. And I know that on a
Yeah.
deep level. That's
Yes, you're
valid.
feeling inside. You're feeling inside. When it doesn't, it's the same. That's something that I say often. It's and I don't know if you have experienced that as well. But when you spend time with people around you and you feel drained, it does not look right. If you are feeling good and you are full of energy after, it means that you are on the same level of energy. Energetically, I talk, not about
Yes,
life or anything like that, because it has nothing to do with life. We can be all different, but energetically, if you feel good with someone, it's all green flag.
I would
If you
agree.
feel depleted, if you feel like you are drained, if you feel that is all the time in the conversation, it's always heavy, and you have you don't feel great after, something inside say to you, oh no, okay, it's I don't feel listened, I don't feel heard, I don't feel, because it's an exchange.
I
So
would agree. And even just like if you don't even really want to go see that person or hang out with that person, but then you're like, oh, I should, I have to,
yeah,
I should, it's like
no,
even just the not wanting to
yeah,
not
yeah,
is a
the
sign.
willingness, yeah, the willingness, the desire to do things, yeah, absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. We are coming almost to the end of the question. So,
Mm.
you have spent years walking beside others in recovery and spiritually renewal. What recurring patterns do you notice in survivors' healing journeys, and where do you see the greatest transformation begin?
Hmm. I think whether you're talking about people in addiction, you're talking about people in coercive control situations, toxic shame is the biggest common denominator that keeps people stuck because it has people thinking like that they are the problem, that they
Yeah.
are unworthy, that they are on some deep level inherently flawed. And that keeps us stuck for so long.
Hmm.
So
Agree.
that is a powerful one. And also it's like I've never seen any huge transformation happen without this one thing. And it's people becoming sick and tired of their own shit. I had to
Hmm.
stop. I mean, really, because we all have a role to play. I mean, I had a role to play even in this system of, where do I put my blinders on? Where do I stick my head in the sand and not ask hard questions? Where do I disempower myself? I had to
Yeah.
take a look at that. So even in sobriety, it's like I didn't get sober until I hit rock bottom and became willing to step out of victim mode and sick of my own shit, the story that my part in my own suffering. And
Hmm.
that's it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's like it is the pill.
I think it's necessary as well to, if you want to start to heal, you need first to take accountability for
Yes.
what's happening, and accepting as well the fact that it happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's the thing, and it's very difficult at the beginning because we are full of shame, full of guilt. So I can understand,
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
are, but that's what binds us. That's what
yeah,
binds us.
absolutely,
And
absolutely,
compassion is the doorway in.
absolutely.
Self-compassion. Like that's where it all starts.
Yeah, forgiving you. We talk about a lot about people and around and in media as I talk about forgiveness.
Hmm.
They always mistake forgiveness, saying that you have to forgive your abuser. No, actually, you have to forgive yourself
Yeah.
for accepting for so long that abuse, because
Mm,
sometimes it's that things that and you have to you can forgive your abuser in the way that you are not forgiving the abuser. You are forgiving, for example, if it's your parents, you are forgiving the way that they had trauma themselves that
hmm.
they brought to you. And
Yeah.
so in that case, they were not fully aware of what they were doing, even so they might have been conscious to do what they were doing, but it was also driven by the traumas they had themselves.
Absolutely.
So, so, um, so when you understand that, when you are at that thing of that part of healing, and you understand that part,
Mm.
of course, at the beginning, it's difficult to accept because no
Yeah.
one will accept, to forgiving our perpetrator, actually.
Right.
But, but yeah, when you see in the insight, you see that it's much more complex that what it looks like. After you
On both
just,
sides.
yeah, on both sides,
Yeah.
that that you just, yes, you just you have to accept as well that part.
Yeah. I think forgiveness is a touchy subject for a lot of people, especially early in
Yeah,
their journeys, because it can
yeah.
feel very, um, I think it's a very personal journey, right? Forgiveness is a
Oh yes,
personal journey.
absolutely.
But when you understand that someone else's actions has more to do with themselves and nothing really to
Than
do with,
you, yeah,
right, it's like it just comes naturally. Like forgive them.
yeah.
It doesn't mean forgiveness doesn't mean re-engaging in the unsafe dynamics or in a
No,
relationship with them.
no,
And that's what I
no, no,
think
no.
people,
Yes, mistake. Yes,
right,
they mistake that. They completely mistake that. They think that, oh, you forgive, so you will bring back the person into your life. But it doesn't mean that. You are
right,
not. I mean, you are. If you want to bring back that person into your life, it's okay. I mean,
right,
it's your own will. You know,
right.
we all have free will, but then. If the person, I mean, forgiveness is, as you said, at the beginning of the journey, it's very difficult to be in that mindset. At the end of the
Yeah,
journey, and I think it's that when you understand that, you understand as well that you are almost at the end of your journey because you always have to heal something. So you will never be at the end of
right,
of the whole, I think you heal all your life because you learn all your life, so you have to heal at some point about anything.
right.
It's my opinion, okay? It doesn't mean that it's the opinion of everyone,
I agree with you.
but when you are at the end and you can forgive your abuser because you understand that, I mean, you understand as well that you have passed a certain level of healing. So you have done a certain level of healing and you are
Yeah.
not maybe at the same, yeah. So it's a little hint, I would say, that you are in the right path.
Right, I would agree. And really for me it became a selfish choice in the sense that I saw
Uh-huh.
I was energetically bound to these people that I hated. Right? I was
Hmm.
energetically bound to them with
Yeah.
my hatred. And I so it's a process though. It doesn't mean like I'm one and done. I forgave them and now I can move on because the grief process and the layers and the levels of the healing journey, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden one day I'm not forgiving them and I'm full of
Hmm.
anger. And that's okay
Yeah.
too, because
Yeah.
anger serves its point. I call it sacred rage. That's a whole other topic, but it serves to fuel us forward, right? So to get us out of a nervous system state of like kind of, fawn or people pleasing. It's like you need to harness that rage at appropriate times, but you can't stay stuck there or else you're tethered to them, to the
Hmm.
situation, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it'll eat you alive. It'll destroy you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is my final question for you, Julie.
All right.
We have called this podcast Unbroken, okay? We have decided together the name of that podcast.
Yeah.
When you hear that word today, after all you have lived and the work you now share with others, what does unbroken mean to you?
Okay. So, do you know the Japanese art? I think it's called kintsugi or the
Yes, I
okay.
know.
So that's what the word unbroken means. So for our listeners that don't know about that, it is this
Yes.
Japanese art form where this broken pottery is put back together and repaired with gold. I mean, even just talking about it, I have chills because
Yeah.
the visual of that, it's like the cracks aren't hidden.
Mhm.
The the wound is where the light entered me, and I honor my journey. I honor all my fractured pieces, but I have been mended together again with gold. And so it's
Mm.
been like it's sacred. It's
Yeah.
um it's beautiful. It's such an empowering name. What about you?
Unbroken for me means that even so, you have been broken by your trauma, by your circumstance in life, you know.
Mm,
You have a second chance to you have a second chance to live another life. But for
mm,
that, you have to you have to go back to the origin, and you have to go back to uh it's difficult to explain really much in words, but yes, you have to go back to the genesis of who you were
mm.
originally, you know, when you were a baby.
Yeah, you do.
And so, and you start like a new life, you know. So it's
Yeah.
it's spiritual, really much spiritual, I would say, rather than very um a normal way of thinking.
Yeah.
But
And it's
yeah,
it's like the direct antithesis to like what I think my abuser wanted me to believe, that
yeah,
I was broken. You are
yeah.
unredeemable. You are unworthy. You're like broken. It's like I am unbroken,
I
actually.
am unbroken. Absolutely. I am unbroken.
So it's
Uh,
really like taking your power back. It's like, no, I'm
exactly.
unbroken. Yeah, I love
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's very powerful, I think. Very powerful to feel again that way.
Mm, yes, it is. Absolutely. Because it's
So
like I put myself back together.
yeah,
Uh,
I did the work on myself to put myself back together
Right,
because that's the thing as well. When you do the work after your peace, no one can destroy your peace again. And
right.
you feel it immediately. You feel that something is wrong, as we said before. Your nervous system say, okay, no,
I know.
no,
And it's like, even
no,
if you want to say,
yes,
oh, can I have
yes,
it? Can I do this?
yeah,
Your nervous system's like, no, sweetheart.
no,
You're not
not good,
lying to yourself.
not
Nope.
good. Go away. Not the good situation. Go away. Just move.
Yep.
Just move.
Uh,
Anyway, we have finished today our first podcast, Julie. I wanted to thank you for the openness and the strength in sharing your story and for the beginning this conversation with such honesty. For our listeners, we hope today's episode reminds you that recovery from coercive control isn't just about leaving what harmed you, it's about returning to yourself. You are not destined to remain in survival, so sovereignty, safety, and self trust are yours to reclaim. Oh, that rhymes.
yes.
It's like a poem.
Yes.
Unbroken is here to walk with you as you rebuild that power, one truth, one conversation, and one embodied breath at a time. If this episode resonated with you, follow Unbroken on Spotify and YouTube. We will release the episode today. New episode drop monthly, bring certainly in the future international guests
Yes.
and grounded conversations on recovery, rights, and reclamation. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and remember, you were never broken to begin with. Have a
Thank you.
beautiful day. Have a beautiful evening. Depends on where you are in the world. And see you next time.
See you next time, everyone.